You've probably been living under a rock if you haven't heard of Spongebob Squarepants, the lovable sponge who's been gracing our TV screens for over 2 decades. Truly, Spongebob Squarepants is a staple in the majority of people's childhoods, and that comes as no surprise. The show is jam-packed with wholesome content.
Oh, my 2 friends working together! I gotta get a picture of this.
Not only did we laugh while watching SpongeBob and his friends create shenanigans, but we also, knowingly or unknowingly, learned some valuable lessons along the way. I'm Kyle with Wicked Binge, and these are 10 life lessons that SpongeBob Squarepants taught us.
I remember when they first invented chocolate.
Never give up. Yeah, I know it's a cliche, but we simply had to start with this one. If anyone was ever resilient and determined to succeed, it was SpongeBob. I mean, honestly, have you ever seen SpongeBob give up on anything? Heck, he even ended up selling all those chocolate bars to that crazy guy.
Chocolate? Chocolate!
And have you seen how many times he's failed his boating exam? According to him, he failed only 39 times. Yeah, 39 times. Even when Mrs. Puff urged him to just quit and make her and his life easier, he continued to try and, well, fail.
Don't worry, Mrs. Puff. I'll try harder next semester.
Over and over. But it doesn't matter. Failing is a part of life, and it's necessary. Life wouldn't be fun if you just won all the time. Because oftentimes, it's difficult to appreciate something when it comes to you so easy.
I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready.
Failing can greatly impact your determination and can help you strive for your goal more. The more you fail at something, the more you want to prove to yourself and those around you that you're capable of achieving such a goal. Being determined and patient are highly important traits successful people have, so try and try again and you'll be destined to achieve your goal. You know, eventually. Even if you continuously fail, just remember that success is lingering just around the corner. It's important to know that failure doesn't make you weak, it just makes you human, or a sponge. And suddenly that task that you've been dreading seems way more doable now. So get out there and sell those chocolate bars. Don't be afraid to show your feelings. We all know that SpongeBob has a habit of being overly sensitive, but that's okay. It's fine being sensitive. It's completely natural.
I made this one with my tears.
If you're happy, shout it to the world. If you want to cry, go ahead and let the waterfall flow. SpongeBob, according to Squidward, once cried 43 times before 2 p.m. Sure, it might be a bit dramatic, but what's wrong with being a bit dramatic? The point is, don't be afraid to show your feelings, even the ones that you might not be the most proud of. It helps us cope with things and enables those around us to understand us better. It's always better to deal with your feelings up front rather than to hide them away. If SpongeBob hid his feelings, he'd explode under pressure. And same goes for many of us. Believe in your dreams. It's always important to believe in both yourself and what you strive to achieve. All of the residents of Bikini Bottom have truly embraced who they are as individuals and aren't afraid of pursuing their own dreams. Want to be an artist? Squidward, despite being criticized for his rather egocentric paintings, still finds the will to paint and develop his sketching skills.
This is the only flaw.
Want to become a superhero? Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy have done it, and they're still doing it even though both of them are in their 80s. Want to establish a successful business? Just look at Mr. Krabs. He's taken his entrepreneurial goals to an immoral level. But darn it, those are his dreams. Want to excel in your studies and dedicate your life to science? Take a look at Sandy and her inventions. Enjoy just lounging around and doing nothing? Well, congrats, you're a Patrick, and that's okay.
That guy got hit in the head with a coconut!
Sleeping and watching the Coconut Show is hard work.
You know, it's not as easy as it looks.
The point is, believing in yourself will automatically make your dreams more achievable, and when you finally achieve your goals, you'd feel like you're on top of the world. One has to believe in him or herself. And once you gather up that courage, you become unstoppable. Your confidence and self-value will instantly increase. Be constantly ready, like SpongeBob. Being yourself is the way to go. If you're not being yourself, who are you? Life is too short to care about what other people think. Just look at SpongeBob, for example. He's a walking bundle of joy who's dressed in a square suit, isn't particularly manly, has crooked teeth, and is pretty universally naive. But do you think that those details affect his life negatively in any way? Let's face it, SpongeBob is a perfect target for bullies such as Squidward. Despite often being made fun of for his childlike tendencies and his silly appearance, SpongeBob doesn't let mean words affect him negatively.
Hi, SpongeBob. I'm gonna kick your butt.
In fact, he sees good in anyone and even tries to make peace with his bullies. He's completely comfortable with himself, and instead of choosing to cover up his flaws, he embraces them as part of his personality, and if some people dislike them, it's their loss. Our advice is to be just like that. Be yourself. And when you pair that with being non-judgmental and nice to those around you, it annoys mean people to the point that they'll leave you alone entirely. Then you'll have time and space for people who actually value you, no matter how weird you might be.
Life is good, Krabs.
In all truth, SpongeBob wouldn't have met his friends if he wasn't so weird. So the next time you're thinking about covering your flaws, consider embracing your quirks. After all, you attract what you portray. If you're naturally weird, you'll probably attract some pretty weird but cool and interesting people. Be kind towards others. Sometimes we're SpongeBob, sometimes we're Squidward, sometimes we're jam-packed with happiness and want to share our joy with the world, and other times we'd just like to play the clarinet and talk trash. It's all natural, and we've all been there. But the thing is, negativity greatly affects your life. Just look at Squidward. He's as grumpy as he can possibly get, and for what? There's absolutely no other reason but the failure to view the world through a more positive light in the absence of kindness. SpongeBob doesn't have time or a place in his heart for hatred, and neither should you. Being confident and kind to others truly does more for you than for anyone else. It helps you stay grounded, aware of your value, and genuinely happy with yourself. It's just a lot easier being kind. I mean, have you looked at the way that SpongeBob is living? Not a bad thought in sight, only good thoughts and fun times. Have you seen the way that Squidward's life is? Yeah, full of grumpiness, stress, and insecurities. And terrible, terrible clarinet playing.
Ah, that horrible noise!
Love what you do. We all know that SpongeBob works at the Krusty Krab, and some people even look down at his career as a fry cook.
Krusty Krab! Krusty Krab! Krusty Krab!
But does that limit SpongeBob's goals and his love for his work? Not in the slightest. No matter what you choose to do, whether that be flipping burgers or running your own company, take pride in your work. If you truly enjoy something, enjoy it while you can. Almost everything in life is temporary, especially in our youth. Have an offer for a job position you adore, but those around you don't approve? Who cares what they think? Do what makes you happy, because the offer won't be there forever. Life is about fun. Above anything else, SpongeBob taught us to always have fun. In every episode, SpongeBob finds something positive and entertaining in everything that he does, whether that be his exhausting job or his tough boating school studies.
I love this part of the job.
What's also important is to take a break every once in a while. Life can be exhausting, and when it is, the best thing to do is just chill until you get your energy back. Just look at Patrick. Yes, we know he particularly does nothing else than lounge around, but that's not the point here. His hedonistic view of life and the way he values his happiness over anything else is truly something we should all adopt a bit of. No, we shouldn't lounge around all day and eat like Patrick, but we should definitely be able to recognize when we need to take a break and should happily indulge in the finer things in life. The one thing that never goes out of style is having fun and being careless when you can. SpongeBob never fails to embrace his playful side, and neither should you. In short, seek seek out the good in life, and have fun while you can. As SpongeBob said, turn everything you do into an enjoyable activity full of FUN.
I don't understand this. I feel all tingly inside.
Take advantage of learning opportunities. While we were at school, we daydreamed about working. While at work, we longed for our old school days. Cruel irony. But here's the good news. But we can break that cycle. SpongeBob was always grateful for the things that he had, even if it was a hard homework assignment due on the very next day.
I am about to write the greatest essay of all time.
Yes, there were times where SpongeBob slacked off and didn't learn what he was supposed to, but that's completely understandable. But he never failed to take an opportunity to learn something new, and not only did he learn, but he shared his experience with others. What other time in your life will you have a job where your only responsibility is to learn new things? There is something incredibly fulfilling in learning something new, so cherish it. Also, by taking any opportunity to learn something new, we don't just mean academic type of learning. Learning from life experiences is far more important. As we mature, we learn from what we see and do, whether that be good or bad experiences. Don't be afraid to take risks, not just because you'll possibly get something traditionally valuable out of it, but also because you'll get life experiences from your successes and your failures. You'll get experience with every bad situation you'll find yourself in, whether that be flunking a test or feuding with a friend.
Well, that is downright unfriendly.
Your past failures make you more wary of the world around you and prepares you for what comes next. After all, life gets harder and harder as we age. So, you better prepare. Turn your jealousy into support. We all know that jealousy is bad for us, yet we succumb to it on a daily basis. SpongeBob seems to not have a hint of jealousy in him, but that can't be said for Mr. Krabs and Plankton. Over the course of the show, we see that their feud is fueled almost entirely by jealousy. But it wasn't always that way. Their relationship is entirely broken, and they go from childhood best friends to full-on blood enemies. The same thing can be said about Squidward and Squilliam. Instead of endorsing Squilliam for his success, or simply ignoring his various attempts to make him feel jealous, Squidward often goes into a jealous rage upon hearing about his accomplishments.
Time to rub it in his face.
SpongeBob, however, taught us that everyone is more likely to be a happier person if they perceive other people as their companions rather than their competition. The habit of being jealous and envious of others only worsens our self-esteem, and if our self-worth is already shaky and we have no intention of dropping those toxic behaviors, it becomes a vicious cycle in which we only hurt ourselves. There is nothing to gain from jealousy, and like SpongeBob, we should seek other vessels to put our energy into rather than wasting it on obsessing over someone else's life.
You sure look grown up with that new beard.
Being supportive and genuinely happy about others' success propels us forward to accomplish our own goals. Own up to your mistakes. SpongeBob isn't perfect, and neither are we. People make mistakes. Remember when SpongeBob and Patrick accidentally splattered white paint on Mr. Krabs' first dollar? The two totally freaked out, and that's perfectly natural.
We have technology.
Remember when SpongeBob completely messed up his order at the Krusty Krab? The whole restaurant was a mess. And you know what? It doesn't matter, at least in the long run. Our mistakes seem enormous the first time we make them, but over time, trust us, they shrink and amount to nothing. Own up to your actions and apologize. If they take your apology, great. If they don't, hey, it's not the end of the world. After all, whatever you did is not going to matter in 5 years, or even 5 days, depending on the severity. Owning up to your actions is the moral thing to do, and if the apology gets rejected, at least you have a clean conscience. We're all human, and what's important is that you learn from your mistakes.
Yes, boyo. I enjoyed it very much.
But what do you think of our list? Do you agree with our points? What important lessons has SpongeBob taught you? Let us know in the comments section below. And remember to hit that notification bell so you get notifications whenever we upload. But most importantly, chocolate? Chocolate? Chocolate!